If you can, please download or print out the PDF file on the description below so you can work with me. Now, an even function graph will look like this, and it is symmetrical about the y-axis. Y is the axis of symmetry, if you like. Or it can be upside down, of course. And again, y is the axis of symmetry. For a more complex even function, so it will be look like this, or it can be upside down like this as well. They are all even functions. For example, this even function here, fx is equal to x squared. So let's find f of 1. So this is f of 1. So therefore x squared becomes 1 squared. So 1 squared is 1. And let's find f of minus 1. So f of negative 1, so that becomes negative 1 squared. So negative 1 squared, which is equal to 1. So f of 1 is equal to f of negative 1. So what about if f of negative 2? So that becomes negative 2 all squared. So that becomes 4. And f of 2, which is equal to 2 squared as well. So that is 4. So that is f of negative 2 is equal to f of 2. So in general, for an even function, f of x is equal to f of negative x. Please take note on this. For an odd function, the graph will look like this. So this can be fx is equal to kx. So k is positive in this case, okay? It's just a linear function. Or it can be look like this. So there are odd functions. The complicated odd functions will be look like this or like this. So please take notes on this, okay? So let's have a look at the algebra odd functions. So this function here, fx is equal to x to the power of 3. Let's evaluate f of negative 1. So f of negative 1. So every time you see x, you replace with negative 1 because it's f of negative 1. So x power 3 becomes negative 1 power of 3. So that's become negative 1. So if we find f of 1, so x is replaced with 1, so it becomes 1 power of 3. The answer is 1. So f of negative 1 is equal to negative f of 1. How about we find f of negative 2? So this becomes negative 2 all power of 3. So negative 2 power of 3 is equal to negative 8. And if we want to find out f of 2, so that would give me 2 power of 3. So 2 power of 3 is 8. So therefore, f of negative 2 is equal to negative f of 2. So therefore, in general, for an odd function, f of negative x is equal to negative f of x. So please take note on this. Please stop the video and try this one yourself to determine whether there are even odd functions or neither. First one. So we know f of 1 is equal to negative 2. F of negative 1 also equal negative 2. So therefore, in another word, f of negative x is equal to f of x. So therefore, it is even. Second one, so f of 1 is equal to 2, correct? And then f of negative 1 is equal to 0. So therefore, the function is neither. Please stop the video and try this one yourself. So let's work this out. So f of 1 is this. F of negative 1 is this. So they are equal, see? So f of negative 1 is equal to f of 1. So therefore, it is even. Second one, so f of negative 1 is this, and f of 1 is this. So this is negative 3, and f of 1 is, this is 3. So the opposite side, right? So f of negative 1 is equal to negative f of 1. So therefore, it is an odd function. Let's focus on the algebra part. So we want to work out whether it is even, odd, or neither. So to do this, so we just find f of negative x first. So f of negative x, which is equal to negative x all square. And every time you see x, you replace with negative x, okay? Because it's f of negative x. So this is what I get. So this becomes x squared negative x minus 3. So if I take the negative out, so that becomes negative x squared, and this becomes positive x and plus 3. So it's not the same. So it's not opposites either. So therefore, neither. Now, if you're not confident with your algebra, of course, you can substitute the value in. So you can just substitute f of negative 1, so which is equal to negative 1 square, and then negative 1 minus 3. So put in a calculator, otherwise negative 1 square is 1, minus 3 minus 1 is minus 4. Negative 4 if you like. And then f of 1, that's become 1 square, and then 1 minus 3. So which is equal to 1 times negative 2, because 1 minus 3 is minus 2. Otherwise, just put in a calculator and you should get negative 2. So they're completely different. So therefore, neither. Second one. So again, we just need to find f of negative x. So f of negative x, which equal to 1 over negative x all square. So every time you see x, remember, you replace with negative x. So that's why it becomes negative x all square. So negative x all square is equal to x square, which is equal to f of x. So they are equal. So therefore, it is even function. Please stop the video and try this one yourself. First one. So we find f of negative x. So which is equal to negative x over negative x squared minus 3. So now we just simplify this. So that becomes negative x. Negative x all square is x squared and minus 3. So this, if I take it out, if you can't see it, you can always take it out like this. So that becomes x squared minus 3. So which is equal to negative f of x. So that is f of negative x. So the opposite side. So therefore, fx is odd. Second one. So f of negative x. That becomes 1 minus negative x or square over negative x power of 3. So that will give me 1 minus x squared over negative x power of 3. So that will give me, I bring the negative up, so become negative 1 minus x squared over x power of 3, which is equal to negative f of x. So therefore, fx is odd. Please stop the video and try this one yourself. First one. So all we need to do is we just need to find f of negative x first. So f of negative x, which equal to 3 negative x squared plus 5. So that becomes 3x squared at 5. So this is exactly the same as f of x. So therefore, fx is even. Last one. So we find f of negative x. So every time you see x, you replace with negative x. So that becomes 5 negative x power 5 plus 4 negative x power 3 plus minus x if you like. And we just need to simplify this. Now because negative power of odd, so which is negative as well. So that becomes negative 5x to the power of 5. And again, negative x power odd, so the answer is odd. So which is negative 4x to the power of 3. And this becomes minus x. So if I take the common factor out, that is negative number. So I take negative 1 out. So that negative 5x power 5, it becomes positive like this. And plus 4x to the power 3 plus x. So this is equal to negative f of x. So therefore, it is an odd function. Thank you so much for watching.